Welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and I am joined by Daniel
Hello.
and John.
Hey, y'all.
Got some OG guys back here. We're going to
yes.
start things off with some playing and watching. It's been a little bit since we've done this, and I know we've all been playing something different. Daniel, we're going to start with you. What have you been playing, and what have you been watching?
I've been playing some Elden Ring, even though
Yeah.
I told myself I'll never play that game on the certain I can't remember what podcast. I was like, I'll never play that game. Forget that game. It's amazing. It's been amazing. I
You've
love
been
that
going
game.
kind of hardcore on it too.
Yeah, I actually beat it just the other day.
Oh, did you? Oh, snap.
Yeah, I freaking love the game. There's not really any story to it, but it's just been so amazing, and it just got me hooked right away.
Yeah. What have you been watching lately?
Chicago Fire. I've been watching a lot of Chicago Fire.
So is my mom. So you guys got that in common.
And then
All
what
those
else?
Studley men on there, right, Daniel?
Oh yeah, all of them.
Oh, okay.
Especially that Severide.
All right.
That
You
is
know
the
his
main-
name, so he
That
That
must.
is the main quote hot
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Daniel
I
has
know,
definitely been
man.
watching it.
Yeah, I know. I remember you were telling me that your mom has like a crush for him or
Yeah.
whatever. So
I'll let her know that
Yeah.
Daniel does too.
yeah, let her know.
Jonathan, what about you, man?
So having a baby and wife and all that stuff, I don't have a lot of time to play games, but unfortunately, I stumbled into Fortnite the other day when we went to Zayden's house, your godson's, and played with him for a little while. And I was like, oh, you know what? This isn't that bad.
That's right.
Pretty fun. So every once in a while, because you could play just a couple rounds and get off. So when I got a few minutes, I'll play a couple rounds of Fortnite. And it is nice early on when you're a complete noob and it's easy to keep up because you're playing against other noobs. I realize now after I've played, 10 or 15 rounds or something like that, it is getting progressively harder because I'm getting
Yeah.
matched up with better players. So yeah, that's hard.
Well, you're playing also with bots too in the beginning. They mix like bots and new people. That's why
Not
it's
a
like
lot of them though. I will say I didn't see much bots, or I didn't see any bots. I was playing with them early on. I didn't see
my
any
first three
bots.
games were just like mostly bots until the very end of the circle.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Nice. So I've been watching a lot of stuff on my phone, mostly at lunch, but when I have time, Picard has been phenomenal.
Yeah, gotta watch that.
The new Halo show has been really good. I've been rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra with my 1-year-old son.
10 years since the premiere of Legend of Korra recently.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But I am behind on Moon Knight, but that's been pretty good. And I've been reading Avatar: The Search. It's the second
Nice.
of their comic series or whatever. So good. I cannot. I just like. I want to finish it. I can't wait. I'm like halfway through it already, and it's just like mind blowing revelations in the middle of the books. Like, how did I not know about this? I can't believe this wasn't completely spoiled for me in the past. But
Those comics
really
are good.
Yeah, I should have read it a long time ago.
Yeah.
What about you, Frank? What you watching? What you playing?
So I just caught up on Moon Knight, and my God, guys, I am so about this show.
Yeah.
First off, good move on my end by not researching hardly anything on this. So I'm like actually interested in, because like when I'm watching, I don't know, WandaVision, whatever, like I know what happens to Scarlet Witch. I know about her kids. I know what they'll do. This character, I know just like where he got his abilities from, and that's it. And so everything else I'm really liking about it. The god that's visiting him, that's working with him, reminds me a lot of a character called Bonsamdi in World of Warcraft. And so I'm just like super into that character. The split personality thing. One thing that's surprising me is I don't care about any of the superhero stuff in this. Honestly, like when they're fighting, I'm just like, okay, they're fighting. It's what you expect. I far more care about him talking to the man in the mirror. Like that part is so cool. So I'm really liking that part of Moon Knight. That's really good. Game wise, playing Kirby, and I beat the main story. And what I like is after you beat the main story, they're like, hey, there's this new like chaotic zone where they take bits and pieces from different levels and make a new level out of it, and then you fight like a chaotic version of the boss at the end that has like more abilities, and it's just fun. It's just like it's a lot harder, and it's kind of like the Elden Ring version. It's like it's super difficult to get through, but it's cool because it's just like, oh hey, remember that one part of this level over here? Well, now there's that part of the level, and like these things are on fire for no reason, but it's just fun. Kirby was definitely a good game to go back to. Feels like playing a classic 3D platform like Mario 64. So I've been enjoying that a lot.
And it's pretty smart for them to just kind of piece together pieces that they already have there and make something different out of it, and just up the difficulty a little bit. Now it's a exciting new level.
Yeah, and it's after the game's already beaten. Like you already have the
Yeah.
credits. I already beat the game. It's done. This is just bonus stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. All right, let's go over some network news. First off, Patreon people. Saturday afternoon, you guys got comic books coming out your way. So we worked with Alan, writer of one of the two writers of Hocus Hocus. We got the first 3 issues, basically the entire franchise that's out right now is coming to you guys. I can't suggest this comic book series enough. It's one of my absolute favorite indie comic books from some favorite creators. We're gonna do the Patreon kind of newsletter as well as going out to you guys, explaining what's going on with each of our podcasts, what's coming up next, all that stuff like that. That's coming out Saturday afternoon, so you should already have it when this episode drops. Keep an eye out for those 3 comic books. They're really good. I do suggest you read them. Also, we're going to be at Lodi Comic Con live recording. So come by our booth at Lodi Comic Con. Come hang out with us. Jump in on the podcast. We'll talk about random MCU movies and stuff like that. It'll be fun. We're going to be there all day. I don't know who else is going to be. I know there's a couple of wrestlers and stuff like that are going to be there. So you can meet other famous people, including us. That'll be good.
What's the date on that? Is it May 30th?
May 8th.
May 8th. Close.
Yeah, it's coming
Don't
up.
be late.
Actually, I got to make the MCU board now that I think about it. Shit, I forgot about that. Jonathan, what was your favorite part about doing a live booth at the Comic-Con?
Just talking to people. I mean, it's fun to leave the booth and go check out the Comic-Con because there's so much, but all the people that would come up and have questions and want to talk to us, and that board that you made was really fun with the competing over which controllers are best and stuff. So
yeah,
doing that kind of stuff is a lot of fun, and just engaging with people.
We're gonna do that same kind of board, but this time with the MCU movie, so it'll be a lot more options,
a lot more competitive.
Yeah, man, we had people that were like put their Super Nintendo controller at number 1, and then like make a loop around the entire Comic-Con, come back and adjust it again because like no, somebody put N64 up there. That can't be the case. Yeah. And so it got kind of heated, and I liked that. That was fun.
I wonder if there's a way we can keep a running tally or something like that. Whenever somebody moves one, maybe just for the first place, keep a count so that if somebody comes around and moves it 5 times, okay, you just got 5 points towards yours. And then the other person that's swapping it out for another movie, all right, man, you're earning, and at the end of the day, we'll have a count of who was in the first place the most times.
We'll have to figure something out like that. That's a good idea. And just kind of like tally down like who's contributing the most and stuff like that. That'd be cool. We also have a brand new interview that just came out with Laura Calcaterra, writer of Path of the Pale Rider. It's inspired by Walking Dead, but it's a whole different kind of thing where it's like death isn't necessarily the same thing. Zombies aren't really the same thing. It's really interesting. Check that out. Brand new round 3 is coming out. We had a new Trek Freaks come in that just came out with Carol Pinchevsky, who wrote Turn Your Fandom into Cash. Sorry. That book was really good. Carol came back. She did an interview with us, which everybody seemed to really like. Got a lot of good feedback on that interview. She came back to me on a Trek Freaks. I think it's our first 2-hour Trek Freaks, guys. So
yeah, I regret I could not be in that one, but I'm excited to hear it. Especially.
You completely missed out, dude. It was a lot of fun. I know.
Just I really enjoyed the interview that you did with her too. I was like, man, that sounded like a lot of fun. I can't imagine.
Carol knows a lot of Star Trek people, so there's so much insight that me and we're like, no, what, no way, that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. Go check that out, guys. We have all kinds of stuff coming out. The brand new Disney Mom's Gone Wrong. You guys have already heard the interview on this feed. That has been a blast. It's actually one of our more popular series now, just because it's been taking off like a freaking rocket. So that's been a lot of fun, and their excitement's infectious. It's kind of like when we first started out too. Hearing Susan and Sarah and Diana talk about it, and Diana's like just so gun ho. It's just fun to listen to them excited about their own podcast. I love that. All right, and then lastly, just one real quick thing. On the 19th, World of Warcraft is announcing their next expansion. I'm going to live stream that. So hang out with me and anybody else who happens to be on. Maybe Daniel, if you got that 19th off, bro.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Oh man, we might have Daniel be hanging out with me, dude. That'd be dope because we already know it's gonna be Dragonflight, so we're gonna have all kinds of news coming out, and we'll be excited about that. I know, no matter what it is, announcement days, we're always excited about whatever it is. So we'll check that
definitely.
Out. You should have that day off too. That's Tuesday.
I do.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Daniel's gonna be the live stream, boys. All right, let's get into the news. All right, there's a big debate going on between Elden Ring and Horizon the Forbidden West. Both games, these big open world games that are really dominating the gaming market right now. of those two games, they have very different styles, right? Elden Ring, Daniel, you're going to attest to this, very minimal. They're not going to give you a lot of stuff on the map. You're going to have to kind of figure shit out.
Yeah.
Horizon, on the other side, is like Assassin's Creed, where it's like, hey, these are your different objectives. The main story ones are golden. The side quests are all like yellow. This is exactly what you got to do. Off the top of your head, Daniel, which version of those two open world games do you prefer?
I think Horizon, even though I haven't played Horizon, I just watched you play Horizon that time I went over to your house. Elden Ring was like pretty much it didn't tell you, like it would tell you like little things like, oh, you need to go here, you gotta go here, but it wouldn't actually mark it for you. A lot of times I found myself having a YouTube like, where do I go next? Because I was just going up in a straight line, like I was taking the path. Because it kind of like it'll kind of take you there, but then after that, it'll be like, okay, well, you could just go wherever you want. You don't have to fight that next boss. But I want to go like boss to boss, just knock them all out. And that was definitely annoying about Elden Ring. It just you wouldn't tell you where to exactly go, and you had to YouTube it. It was poorly made. I would think. But Horizon, I like that interface, like that it'll tell you like this is where you gotta go, this is what you gotta do. You could do these missions. These are side missions to help you upgrade. Like I think that was a better route to
You could kind of aim what you're wanting. Like, say, I want to upgrade my gear. You kind of aim towards the quest. You know, are going to do that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the immersion in an Elden Ring? Do you feel like you're kind of becoming more immersed, or is that all to the wayside because you're pulling up YouTube videos the entire time?
I feel like I'm being immersed with the game, especially like when you're downing all these bosses. And then there is like side quests, like little side quests that you have to help this person go do this thing. But then you're also left lost because you just don't know where to go. And then you have to pull up YouTube again just to fucking figure out where's the next spot to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. So it kind of like having that walkthrough. Remember those walkthrough magazines you'd have like open up next to you while you're gaming?
And you know what? I hate using those. So I was getting irritated when I was like pulling up YouTube, but then I was also getting frustrated because I was hours looking for a spot to go to and then couldn't find it. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna YouTube. Where's my next location? Where do I go after I kill Radon? Where do I go? Yeah, it was kind of pain in the ass, and I don't like using people's guides. I usually like to just figure things out, but I had to use a guide to pretty much explore the whole map.
Yeah, especially in a timely fashion, which I think is the other problem. Is it's like using the lack of markers to milk the time on the game, and at the end of the day, it's like I just got to get the story done so that I can go on to the next game that's on my list. You know, which I'm running into right now.
But I think Horizon was definitely better though.
Yeah. Jonathan, you played Assassin's Origin recently, and that was the first Assassin's Creed game to kind of like take on some of this Elden Ring feel, where it's like, oh, we're gonna give you less markers. Did you have fun? Did you have more fun exploring the world, or did you have more fun, getting some missions done and finishing up that story?
Well, so I don't feel like I explored the world freely too much because it still had enough guidance that I always more or less knew where I needed to go. Sometimes I would just explore intentionally, but I was never lost. I always knew, okay, I need to go to this town next. And yeah, there wasn't like a, marker or something like that, but the name of the town, and it's on your map so you can walk to it. But to me, like when I was like 17, 18, I would love to play a game like Elder Rings without having any markers, anything like that, because it's more engaging with the role-playing aspect of the game. So you have to listen and pay attention to what every character's saying, and you have to look inside the world and see what the signs actually read. And you have to, rummage through the chest and find that written letter and read the letter. And it says, oh yeah, there was this thing in this one village or whatever. You actually got to be engaged and living in the character's life. And that's so fun if that's the kind of gameplay you like and you have a ton of time to dedicate to a game.
Yeah.
If you don't and you just want to hit checkpoints, and a lot of people like to, play put in so much time and then hit a checkpoint, and they have to have that reminder that they're doing good, and that award system. If that's what you're looking for, then you probably need that HUD system that guides you and pushes you along to certain checkpoints. But I think it's just a matter of who's playing, and if they really want that kind of longer, grindy, slower, but more role playing game, or if they want just to hit a bunch of checkpoints and wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other games that could be swapped over. Like for GTA, has a lot of markers on the map, but I
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
explore the hell out of that game because there's all kinds of Easter eggs. There's like aliens and stuff like that if you actually explore.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to think if they could just take away a lot of these markers and be like, hey, you have to go find a gun shop, and then you're literally looking at storefronts for gun shops,
Yeah.
or you have to use the internet because they have your smartphone. You could like actually look up these things, and you could Google through in game where's there's gun shop. That might be more fun, but it
Yeah.
would slow you down quite a bit, and
And,
that's kind of a tough mix.
and I think instead of making bosses harder or other creatures more difficult to kill, I think changing things like that would be an awesome way to change the difficulty level in the game. So when you start the game, you choose difficult, regular, or easy, and that is some of what's
Oh yeah.
changed. Is your UI? You don't have markers on a map or any map or a health bar or anything like that. You have to actually read the environment around you to know what's going on.
Not having a health bar would be kind of insane. They
Right?
are.
Especially for Elden Ring.
Oh
We
my
were talking about that
goodness.
earlier. Like, imagine if you don't know if your guy's hydrated or hungry or has health, and you have to see, is he slouched over a little bit? Is he breathing heavier? Does he walk slower? What is he physically showing you? And then it's like, oh crap, yeah, I got to go find some food and eat because he's obviously malnourished or getting tired.
Yeah,
It's like, man, that would be a lot more
that would
immersive
be
of a game. But it'd be
horrible.
hard. It'd be
I
hard.
think for
I think I would give up on the game, honestly. Like
yeah,
something like that
especially for Elden
difficult.
Ring's difficulty.
Uh
Because like Horizon, you have distance and you're like attacking from afar at first, or you get distance away from the dino who's charging through, and you're reassessing, you're planning traps, you're doing whatever. You got a plethora of tools that you could stop and see, like, okay, Aloy's breathing heavy, she's hurt. But in Elden Ring, it's constant movement, it's constant dodging. You don't want to have a chance to even see your character breathe. So
Yeah.
that would be a hard. There has to be something though that would be a cool little. Maybe your armor's getting more dinged up or something like that. Would be pretty neat. It reminds me of Hellblade Senua, one of the coolest freaking games with the coolest UIs. Um, she as you die, so eventually if you die enough times, you won't be allowed to beat the game. That will make it'll start the game fully over again for you. But every time you die, this black corruption goes up your arm. So as you're playing, you're noticing like, man, that black corruption's getting up my arm pretty far. And like I got to the point where I'm like, no, I could tell it's almost at her heart, and that's what you have to restart the game. And so I'm done playing. I don't want to I
I would
don't want to go any
restart.
further. So I apparently I have like only 2 more bosses to go. I really should get back at it because that game is phenomenal. But I know that if I die like 1 or 2 more times, Senua's gonna be, brand new again, and I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, fresh start.
So it's a tough mix. I think I personally like having all the markers because I'm a bit of a completionist, so it makes me
Yeah.
want to like clear the map. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a time issue I didn't think about with the immersion part that could be a problem.
Well, just the markers. I think they like it'll make it so like the game's not as long too. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I need to like hurry up and beat games sometimes. I don't have time to play all these games. So me having to explore the whole entire map just for this thing, it's kind of a pain in the ass. And like Elden Ring has like 4 different endings. So every time, like if you find like this mage and you do her whole entire quest line, you could change the ending. And
yeah.
it's like, well, you just have to randomly find her, or hopefully somebody else found like each one and how to get that certain ending. And I don't like games like that. But the game itself was really good. I did spend a lot of hours on it just trying to explore it because I wanted to. But yeah, I did find myself using YouTube a lot just because I
That's
didn't know where to
frustrating though.
go.
Man, that bugs me
Yeah,
that you did that.
it was kind of pain in the ass.
I mean, I
Yeah.
literally own a second monitor because of World of Warcraft, and I had to have guides up while playing WoW. So I
Yeah.
get that, but um,
But
Yeah.
like, where do I go after I kill this guy, Radon?
it
Like,
doesn't
it's
feel
like,
good.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like you're going up then you're going back down, then going back up, then that way, and it's like, oh shit.
What do you think if they made in game more NPCs that you could ask these questions, and so you don't have to look them up
Ooh.
and you don't have to have a tangible like guide on your
Oh, okay.
screen? But yeah,
Yeah.
just
Cool.
somebody in the pretty much anybody in the town you see, you can go ask them like, hey, have you heard about this dragon or whatever? And then they'll give you kind of hints or clues, or oh, go to this village and ask so and so. You don't have a marker, but you got to look on the map, a paper map in game, to find the village and take that road and find that
That-
guy.
That wouldn't be bad, honestly. But like
Yeah.
usually you talk to one person and it's like, okay, well, now I just gotta go try to get to that place, or like where to go next. Like it was a pain
Even
in
the
the ass.
NPCs are super vague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like the NPCs, I found out you can murder a lot of them. I'm like, what?
Oh,
The
interesting.
whole time?
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
shit.
that's like Outer Worlds. You could do that, and you can really mess up your game because you're like, oh, she's
I
foot quest
needed
later on. Damn.
Yeah, I needed that one.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
like there's like one guy that he like you fight him and then you stop fighting him or something like that. I forget his name. But then all of a sudden, like he becomes like an NPC that you could talk to when you get to a certain point. But I didn't see him, and it threw my whole game out of a loop because I was like, wait, when I was YouTubing, I was like, why is this motherfucker here on this video, but my guy's not here? Come and find out I fucking murdered him or something like that earlier in the fucking. I'm like, God damn it, I didn't even know.
Botched it.
Yeah.
No, man. That I will say, somebody brought up Ghost of Tsushima, I think it was, where if you're
Oh,
lost,
yeah.
you can press a button and the wind will blow in a certain direction and tell you like, okay, I gotta go that way. And that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's the only hint you have to know
Yeah.
which way you gotta go. But at least that's something. But I
Yeah.
that's just such a cool way of doing it. I would buy more creative ways like that,
Well, there's a map too. The map will tell you like pretty much where to go to, because I own the
Okay, so if you
game.
want-
Like
yeah.
it tells you like side shit also.
Do you own it on PS5?
No, I don't
Or
have a
PS
PS5 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna borrow it from you then. Need to borrow more
I mean,
games.
you could borrow my PS4 game.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Heck yeah, because I do
I
want to
don't
play
like
it,
it.
but it's like
Yeah.
I told myself I'm not allowed to buy Elden Ring until I finish beating Horizon, and because I know I'm not gonna like Elden Ring just because I don't like hard games, and so
It's
I know
actually
it's
not
gonna-
that hard. Like I beat it. If I beat it, I didn't. I quit. I actually uninstalled the game, but I was like, okay,
and
I
then
ain't gonna
reinstall it.
fucking do this. I'm actually gonna actually try the game. So re-downloaded it, played it, and just fell in love with the game. So you should
All right,
definitely play it. You
I'll
might
play
actually
it.
enjoy it.
I am. I'm just gonna beat Horizon first because I can't keep stacking games like that, and
Yeah.
that's tough to do. All right, let's move on to our next thing here.
All right, I got a
go
question for you guys. And do you guys know what method acting is? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Method
there's always like
Yeah.
fun stories about method acting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much like the actor actually gets into that role.
Yeah,
and
they like live in that character.
Yeah, I know that.
So recently, Jared Leto on the set of what is it, Morbius?
Yeah.
Was doing living in method acting. I guess I don't know how you would say it. Method acting on set, and it was delaying production by like 45 minutes when he would take bathroom breaks and stuff like that because he's in crutches and he's kind of portraying what that is like in a full life perspective or whatever.
Mhm.
So now, because of that and just other reasons, a lot of actors are coming out against the practice of method acting. They're saying this shouldn't be tolerated, shouldn't be allowed, whatever, they against it. What do you guys think? Do you think method acting is a bad thing to do on set, or is it good and we should allow it? And how should we move forward in the future if people want to act in method acting?
What do you think, Daniel? You go first.
I think method acting could be really good, but I've seen like the issues with it too, because then that actor becomes kind of insane
Yeah,
into the
two into the
story,
role, right?
to the role that they're treating people bad. Like if
Right.
he's a gangster, he's treating all his like team members like a piece of shit.
Mhm.
So, and the whole delaying stuff, and we lost Heath Ledger, right? Kind of because method acting kind of screwed everything, like screwed his head
Mess
over.
with his brain, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if actors want to do it, then it's on them. But I think they shouldn't do it on certain roles that are just
Unhealthy.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
Too unhealthy for them.
Yeah. And I agree, like you're saying, if the actor wants to do it, it's on them, because I think we forget nowadays the way that movie and TVs are so processed. It's come down to a science, and everybody in the industry has it just kind of made into a machine that you just input and output. We forget that actors are artists, and this
Yeah.
is their, came from stage acting, and this is their art. So it's so unique to the person. And so to me, if somebody is a method actor and they can really produce a great piece of art in their acting by living in that character offset, then that's great. That's their method. That's how they do it. It's just like painting Picasso is not going to be the
Yeah.
same from one person to the next. But there's also that caveat that if them playing that character offset means they're, being rude to other people, or, doing things that can get them in trouble, well, that's their choice in their artistic freedom, but they'll still have to live with the consequences of that. And if that means the consequences are not getting hired for other roles because they're being a bully on set, then
Yeah.
unfortunately that's their consequence. If they can find other ways to make such good art, act really good or really engage in their character without method acting or without being difficult on set, delaying production and stuff like that, then even better. But if they have to be method acting and it's causing problems, I think they're just going to start losing those roles to
Yeah.
other actors that don't. So I think it's great if it
Yeah.
produces better quality, but I don't think, I think it's going to be phased out over time.
So Mads Mikkelsen was kind of the first big name with Fantastic Beasts to come out against method acting, saying that it's pretentious, that you guys act like you're better than everybody else when you're, oh, I only method act kind of thing.
Mhm.
Since then, a lot of people come out against it, and Samuel Jackson did it best when he's like, "It's a job. You're all playing make believe," is what he says. You're all
Yeah.
playing make believe. And there's a couple of horror stories for method acting. One of the most infamous, which is from Jared Leto, who's also the Morbius problem here on Suicide Squad when he was playing Joker. This is a
Yeah.
pretty damn near confirmed thing. He sent used condoms to everybody because that's what his Joker would have done. I
Mm.
mean, that's you should be arrested. Like that's
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Who gives a shit about you being a method actor?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. And so you have that, and then of course now on the adverse of this, I tell this story to whomever is next to me and is tired of hearing the same story over again every time I watch Django Unchained
Leo
about
DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Jonathan knows because he probably heard
Oh,
that
I
story
know.
more than a few times. Leonardo DiCaprio in the scene, I freaking love it. When he breaks the glass and he starts to bleed, that was not meant to happen, but because he's in the role so much, he keeps going with it, and then he smears his blood on the face of I forget her name, but
An actress.
from Scandal. Her horrified look is because it's all actually happening, and
Now you tell that as a good story, right?
because it's like because when you're watching the acting, you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, their performances are bar none. It's because they're
Yeah.
real performances.
Yeah.
Now look at the perspective of the young lady who just
I
had
know,
blood
I
smeared on
know.
her face as an actress.
Yeah, and
That
he
could have
was
been a huge lawsuit from her side
Leonardo
too.
DiCaprio was method acting on set, and we all know how you know Monsignor or whatever his name Candy was on set. He was atrocious.
Yeah.
He's a bigot, and so when you're
Yeah.
on a set like Django Unchained, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
It's yeah, God, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's interesting stories like that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then
There's pros and cons to it for
yeah,
sure.
Samuel Jackson, who was on set with with on Django Unchained as well, is the one here saying like it's make believe. You guys just gotta
Yeah.
do your damn job and be back at it. So I'm generally of the mind like whatever Samuel Jackson says, I'll do. And I think he could just be president. And I'd be okay with that.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I definitely think method acting is interesting, and I like to hear
Yeah.
these stories about it. But I also think it's if two people are doing a job and one of them has a harder time, has to do extra work to do it, they're not going to get the job. It's the people
Yeah.
who can do it without method acting. I think eventually will be the ones that are getting hired to do it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there should be like an assistant. If you're gonna be a method actor, you need to have a specific person
Yeah.
like the studio hires
Yeah.
that is like your liaison that says, "Hey, you're going too far, bro. Hey, don't send the condoms to everybody. Hey,
Yeah.
don't use crutches and delay." Because on set, there's the one Morbius actor, Jared Leto, and
Mhm.
40 people around him waiting for him to go take a piss because he's walking around on crutches he don't need. Which
Yeah.
we don't need to get into the fact that you using crutches you don't need is kind of insensitive to those who do need them. But the fact that like I got my kid's soccer practice after this, bro, and I'm watching you hobble around to go to the bathroom. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah,
That's just not cool. That's just being
Yeah.
a jerk. So
that's
I don't like
true.
Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, I don't really like his actual acting. That's
Yeah.
probably why I'm just like, wow, what a piece of shit. But there's other actors that I like that do method acting that I'm like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
there's like scenes that it does improve, and it's like, man, what if they actually took that scene out? Would the movie still be as good? Like, there's
Yeah.
like, those scenes that are just like, that's the reason why I watch it.
Like
Well,
that
Like,
Django scene. I mean, it's just so freaking
yeah,
iconic. Yeah.
like think
but
about if that was gone. It's like, would
Yeah, I
it
know.
be as like good?
or if they
Hard.
recasted that, if Leo
Yeah,
DiCaprio's character was some other
can't
actor,
though. Leo.
maybe a non-method actor could have done just as great of a job. I don't know.
That
You
movie
think?
is so well done. It's hard to imagine. In my this is weird. In my voiceover, one of my voiceover classes, because I'm working on a minor in audio engineering, and so I had to take a voiceover class, and we had to redo a scene. We had to redo a scene, and not even thinking about it, I picked Django Unchained. Just like, oh yeah, I love that movie, and you get to really do some fun voices. It took about 2 minutes into doing research for that. Like, oh no, the things I have to say in class will not work. And so, and I changed it like last minute to Rocky or some shit. I don't know. But I was like, oh no. There's no like 2 minutes of dialogue in that movie that are safe to say. So I'm not gonna do that. Oh man. I'm not a method actor, folks.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next thing here. Sony and Lego invest $2 billion with a B dollars into Epic to develop their metaverse. Okay. First off, we've talked about metaverse a little bit here. Jonathan, why don't you break down what the metaverse is for us real fast, like a 1 minute explainer? 30
Yeah,
seconds.
so it's like a virtual version, a 3D version of the internet, more or less. A internet that you can log in and walk through. So like when we play most of the video games we play, we're in a platform where you can walk and interact with everybody and stuff. That's going to be the, internet 3.0, the metaverse would be. And like when you watch Ralph Wreck's the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph, they go into the internet. It's a tangible place that your character can walk around in. So stores, like there might be a Nike store in the metaverse where your character can fly to it or walk to it or whatever and walk through and look at all the digital 3D models of the different Nike shoes. And you can buy them there, and there's going to be an employee that's working at that store to help guide you around and stuff like that. And you can
And the
buy
shoes can be
physical
sent to your
ones.
house. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's cool. Yeah.
You can buy physical ones that get mailed to you, or buy digital ones that go on your avatar, and use or pay one price and you get both, something like that. But so there's going to be like a lot of people are trying to build. They're not building their own version of the metaverse. They're building pretty much like their website on the internet. They're building their own, stores.
Both.
And
We have some people like Epic is trying to build their own version of the metaverse. Same thing with Facebook / now called Meta, are trying to build the metaverses. And then we have other people that are like, let me be a part of your metaverse. So it's tough,
but the problem with that is it's like the internet. They're trying to say we're going to build the internet, and the internet is interwoven between everybody, right? We all share hosting it, right?
So there's okay, so everybody knows like web 1 is typing out google.com. Web 2 is Facebook, Twitter, these platforms where people hang out and intermingle, and like Facebook,
information comes out and goes in. We can
but you're all within, but you're still within the Facebook platform.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Now, Web 3 is the idea that first off, the big brands and celebrities are 1% over multiple platforms. So like Geek Freaks on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But then it's also in that meta state too. So you're using the platform as a way to shop into other realms. Is the idea. It's a tough one. I will give you props though. You did not mention Ready Player One once. So that was pretty good.
I was thinking of that too, but I was like, I don't know.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Daniel, what do you think? Would you join the metaverse? Say I give you some VR glasses today. Would you be like, oh, I'm all about that meta, bro?
Probably not, because I get
headaches
and fucking get motion sickness. So like, yeah, it wouldn't be good. And honestly, I just rather not get into all that stuff.
Yeah, I like to think of it in Ready Player One. Like Daniel's just like, I just like the drones that bring pizza, and I'm cool with that technology. I don't care about the rest of this.
What
about you, John?
Daniel would work at the IOI. He's going to be a career metaverse guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of those race car drivers that are jerks.
just got to hop in and hurry up and just, play as much as you can in the day. Then you clock out, and you go home and, you eat delivery pizza. But, day to
I
day,
think
that'd be
Daniel
awesome.
would be good at the metaverse. The way he
Yeah.
plays, because we're going to talk
Uh,
about a second current day metaverses, and Daniel's good in those ones. So I
Yeah.
think he'd be better than he thinks he is.
Yeah,
What
I
about
can't.
you, Jonathan? Are you going to embrace the metaverse in the future?
Oh
Or
yeah,
recent?
as soon as it's available, I'm down. I mean, as much as I play video games, which is like maybe 10 minutes a week, but yeah, that'd be fun. I'd like to be able to walk through, a virtual environment and see useful information. It's nice to do so with just a game for fun, but it'd be cool to do it also for useful stuff. If you're looking
I mean,
for,
you could do it. You could go to work in the metaverse. Really?
yeah, looking for car insurance, and you can walk through to, the different car insurance stores and talk to the people, and I don't know, just living in a virtual world for a little while.
See, stuff
Not
like
too
that
much.
would
It's
be
not
kind
healthy.
of cool though. Definitely
Yeah.
like when you have to do like shop for certain things like that. And you can actually like, because I like to talk to people to ask them questions about like insurance.
Yeah.
So it would actually be kind of cool that you just stay at home and do that
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
instead of
imagine
actually
just
driving.
like Googling stuff, like a metaverse search, all the stuff. I imagine like in the Matrix when all the shelves of guns or weapons come flying by them. Like if you Google stuff, you can have just a million options of things that just fly next to you, and then you like kind of pick a category that narrows it down and moves it all around you. You're inside a virtual world. Everything can be done however you want
My mind immediately goes to the wrong places when I start thinking about like the possibilities, which is
it.
how the internet progresses. Where
Oh
it's just
yeah.
like, oh my god,
Porn
that's
leads the
right.
industry. Yeah. There's gonna be a dark corner of the metaverse, guys. It's gonna
Yeah,
be the
don't
back
like
alley.
literally don't go down the alleys.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I want to check it out. I think it would be a lot of fun if it's done as well as possible.
Mhm.
It's funny how I wonder if it's because we grew up in the 90s and stuff. Right away we're picturing it as a mall. And I wonder
Yeah.
if the younger generations where there's not really malls around picture of mall as well. For me, I'm just like, yeah, it'd be a really cool, sweet ass mall. And so I wonder if that's necessarily what it'll be.
Mm.
But yeah,
True.
so that's the first
We're
thing that's in
made as
my head too.
consumers.
I'm like, where's the orange Julius?
What do you
We'll have
well
to see.
so if the next generation, the Gen Z or whatever, if they don't see it as a place for shopping because we were programmed to be consumers, what do you think they would expect out of it instead? And what might these
I,
metaverse developers be targeting instead?
they're definitely targeting them. So okay, we're gonna try to predict what the kids are saying. This nothing ages you more than trying to predict what kids are doing. So they're probably doing drugs and sharing vapes, but
Right.
yeah, but they're probably like a hangout area where you can hang out with personalities that you follow. Because I think one of the big differences between the youngest generations versus later on is they follow these indie creators that get big more than they follow any certain company. And so I think that's something, I myself follow Rhett and Link, and I watch them every morning and I follow everything they do. I love them. They're just two guys that started a show in their garage at one point. And now they have a little studio in LA. But I care way more about meeting those two guys than I do about meeting Brad Pitt or anybody who's actually famous. Yeah, I don't care about any of those guys. I want to meet
Yeah.
Rhett and Link, these two guys that did skits in the beginning of. So I think there's a level of that. I don't know.
Hmm.
All right.
Interesting.
What kind of metaverses exist already? I'll start with one I think is important with the Epic here. Fortnite. If you guys go into Fortnite, they have where you can like do these lobbies. You go to different little mini games. You're hanging out with your friends. You get to dress with however you want. There's many skins that, trust me, they buy.
Mhm.
The amount of money. I don't know if David, Zayn's dad, knows how much money he spent in Fortnite, but me seeing that kid in a different skin every single time he logs in tells me that kid's got a couple K in that thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think Fortnite's a really good example of what the metaverse can be. Coachella, which is a big concert event that's going on right now, is also in Fortnite this year. So you could just go to Coachella, a big music festival inside of Fortnite right now, and people are doing it. One of the latest Star Wars released, the trailer premiered in Fortnite. So you log into
Yeah.
Fortnite, you go to this movie theater they had it, and you watch the trailer right there in game.
Hmm.
And I think it's a really good example. I think Epic already kind of has a little bit of a market on this, and I think it's good. Is there any current meta, any old school metas that you guys already know about?
Just all the different games we've played, or if that's what you're considering a metaverse. But to me, I think a metaverse has to be not owned by one person, not locked in, to where only they can input and output, but it has to be open like our internet is now, where anybody can add to it and take from it. I don't know.
Yeah. So like the Facebook Metaverse, just a little side news, came out this week that they are going to be charging companies 50% to sell anything through their metaverse.
Yeah.
So if you buy a Nike shoe from Nike in the metaverse, their metaverse, Facebook's getting half of that, which is just, I mean, so expensive. That's so much money. When they were just complaining about Apple taking 30% from their people on the App Store. So it's like, I mean, come on, guys, 50%. That's crazy. Yeah.
That's just got to mark everything else up. Like
Yeah.
every price, like instead of buying $200 shoes, you're paying like $400 shoes.
Yeah, they'll
But
make up their money somewhere.
What's Google doing right now? Are they not building in the metaverse or
I'm sure they
establishing?
are. They just haven't talked about it yet, probably.
And I assume they would be the giant that really makes the foundation that everybody else can leech off of or
Yeah.
add to. But
I love
I don't
Google
know.
Calendar and
Yeah.
Gmails. What about you, Daniel? Can you think of any metaverses that currently exist? A place that we would hang out online?
Like other than playing like WoW, like we all just would hang out. I mean, WoW is like a big one, but
Been around
you're
since
only playing
2004.
WoW. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we would just chill in Orgrimmar on top and
Right.
just talk transmog. Now we transmog and compete with skins and just talk.
Well, that was a great example because there would be so many times where we would not be playing the game, but we would just be bullshitting, standing around in Orgrimmar,
Mhm.
and would, I mean,
Just chatting it up.
me and Joe have literally played hide and seek in Orgrimmar.
Yeah.
Where, all right, one of us will stand outside the gate and count down from 20. The other one goes hide in Orgrimmar, and the other one's got to find him. We've done that a lot of times. Or I've seen funerals in World of Warcraft. I've seen birthdays in World of Warcraft, and I think 2004 is WoW, and even before that, RuneScape and all these big MMOs were the first little hints of like, hey, there could be community online, and then that's expanding too. Like EVE Online is a great one.
We did one for was it New Year's or 4th of July?
4th of July they have fireworks 4th of July and New Year's. Actually, they have them for both.
Yeah,
And so,
I remember that we did one. Like we just actually just chilled in Org, watched it.
Yeah.
It was
bullshitted, watch the fireworks in Orgrimmar. I mean, it sounds sad. when we say
it does sound sad, but
it was cool. It's just you're just bullshit
fun
with friends, which is what you're doing all the time. Yeah. And in that sense, Discord itself is metaverse, right? Because it's a place where we're all in together, we're chatting, and we have different ways of chatting and stuff like that. So it's kind of a janky metaverse in a way, in that sense too.
But you don't walk around with a 3D representation of yourself.
Oh, you guys aren't using Discord, right? Then I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. One thing I think would be cool is like think of your favorite, because most of what I think of we would do is either shopping or socializing in the metaverse. So think of your favorite bar from a TV show or movie. So you think like 10 Forward in Star Trek, or Moe's Tavern. Like somebody will make a virtual version of that, and you'll go there and hang out with your friends, and you'll be sitting at your computer or whatever having a beer, but you'll be talking to your buddies who are also sitting at their computer having a beer and talking about the latest skin you downloaded or something like that. And I was thinking like, well, who's gonna build Moe's Tavern and make any kind of money out of it? But it's the person selling the skins. You go into Moe's, so whoever owns the rights to Simpsons will own the rights, to make that place there.
Disney.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If it's free and online, how well they'll be able to control rights and privileges that way. But then you make different skins. If you want a Duff beer mug or something like that, you pay $5 or whatever, and you get the skin for that. So whenever your character's drinking out of something, you could switch it to be a Duff beer mug.
Yeah,
or bottle.
I totally would.
Like yeah, so I think that's where it would monetize, because it's got to have money behind it, or
of
it
course
won't move. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna be an adopter. And at first, I thought Metaverse is just a waste of time, but I think I might be an adopter of this.
Yeah,
I think it'll be cool.
I mean, if I could find a good paying job in the Metaverse, I'll be there.
I mean, with robotics and VR, you could possibly someday do your current job in the Metaverse.
Yeah.
You're controlling a robotics that is sitting in the factory.
I could definitely do my job from the Metaverse.
Yeah. Sit at a computer, look at screens.
I can do that right now at home. Just give me a bunch of screens and give me the program, and I can do it right now. So if I can hook it up, I'm freaking down.
Okay.
Daniel would still be like, I hate my bosses.
Yeah.
I think at that point, I would love my job, because then I don't have to see my management, like the management team.
Everybody would probably be happier. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't have to see your own managers, it would be great. squeaks, not to get him in trouble with the Air Force, but when he does have to work at home, he has two things up: the Air Force over here, obviously on the second monitor, and his video game on the first one.
Yeah.
he's multitasking.
Nice.
Which right now he got a brand new baby, which is just like full-time job as it is. So props to him. But yeah.